Good day and welcome to the Parent Conference, grades 9 to 12, and this is August 2023. I'm specifically explaining the following information to everybody from grade 9 to 12 so that you can be prepared for and what to expect for going towards the end for graduation. We have to think ahead. Be aware of graduation. When is it usually in the year? This year is the 30th of November, so it's either around the 30th or the 1st of December. That is the usual date for virtual graduation. So this is an online graduation. Then the student, this year, they need to complete their work by the 10th of November to be able to receive their certificate this year still. The certificate plus the transcript. The transcript just explains from grade 9 up until grade 12, give you all the scores from grade 9 up until grade 12. And it's very important to do well every year if you want to go into further studies to build up a good academic track record. So after the 10th of December, you will most probably only receive your certificate in January the following year. So this is every year, it's the same kind of thing. Obviously, if you want to go into further studies, it's better to finish earlier. And that's why we started off with a document called, it's a web page, it's called Pathway to Graduation. And this will explain to you what is needed from grade 9, what you have to do from grade 9 up until grade 12 to be prepared for graduation. So where will you find this web page? It is on Teams, on the parent as well as the student team. It says Pathway to Graduation. Follow the link and please follow step by step. Follow the steps carefully from grade 9. And as new things pop up, we will inform you about the new things. But read every step carefully. And the reason why we say that is we had a student now who didn't follow the steps very carefully. They do all sorts of interesting things, send documents to the wrong people or wrong information. So please follow it step by step. And parents, please take your child's hands. Help them and guide them. Then the correct info is needed for the different steps. Now, do you know what to do next after you finish grade 12? Yes. Are you going into the workplace or are you going into further studies? Well, if you are going into further studies, obviously you need to qualify for that. If you're going to the workplace and you're not going to go into further studies, you need basically the general certificate. But I always say, aim for the highest. Aim for your best. If you then by grade 10 or 11 realize this is just too much or too hard, for instance, pure maths, you can go down to consumer and applied maths, which is math literacy. Or if you are sort of interested in the sciences, do your biology as well as the science as well as pure maths to be able to go into further studies and that you are prepared for that. So who is the following institutions? The first one is SAQA. I'm going to use a few names which you might hear later on about, but I would like to share it so that you know what it's all about. SAQA is the South African Qualification Authority. And SAQA compares our grade 12s with the norm outside with your grade 12. So they compare it on the National Qualification Framework and they give you a comparison letter of NQF4, which is grade 12. If you go into the workplace, you will only need this letter. So once you finish with your grade 12, we definitely suggest to apply immediately for the SAQA comparison letter to say that you have a grade 12 certificate. What is USAF? USAF is the University of South Africa. 26 of our big universities, they belong to USAF. So if you want to go into further studies at one of these big universities, you need matric exemption. So the matriculation board will give you your matric exemption. Again, there's certain steps to follow, and that's why we created the path to graduation. As I said, please just follow the steps. Then, does your child qualify to study further? Usually when you're going to further studies, you need 2 languages at least. And but the question is, if you want to go, for instance, in the medical field, do you have biology as a subject? Guide your child. Please don't just leave them and try and pick up the loose ends once they finish or step into some problem somewhere. Guide them. So, if you want to add courses to the transcript, remember, you can, in grade 9, 10, 11, you can still add courses if you haven't added that yet, especially if you realize, wow, I want to go into, again, I'll use the medicine, for instance, because for that you need biology. I need that if I want to do a certain medical field. Then please start doing it now already. 9, 10, 11. Start doing it now. You can always throw it off the bus somewhere down the line. Otherwise, once you finish your grade 12, you can add courses to your transcript, but it must be a course which is on the platform. For instance, let's say biology, accounting. Once you finish your grade 12, you can still, then they will give you an add-on transcript. They're not going to give you or update your old transcript. That's why I say rather finish your grade 12 later. That's the lovely part of this. This is individual learning. So rather finish later and add the course to the existing transcript and finish everything on one transcript. It just looked better on paper. Then I would like you to listen to a student's commencement address. Now, what is that? You get the valedictory address or speech, and then you get the commencement address. Valedictory is usually your top student, academic student, and we usually have a valedictory student who will do the speech on behalf of all the students. The commencement address, they call it, it's a new beginning of a new phase in your life. It boils down to the same thing, but this one I want to share with you. It's a bit different. It's a different perspective of what it means to be successful in life. And the girl is Kelsey O'Connor. At this point, I would suggest stop here and listen and watch the video. Watch the video about Kelsey O'Connor. She was a softball player. So, who are you going to be? Not what are you going to be, what are you going to do? Because things happen in life. She had a major setback when she was injured in softball and she couldn't play further. She had to change the course, and things happen even in us as adults' lives. Things happen and we have to change course. How do we react on that? Don't base your identity on what you would like to become, on the titles that you have or other people's, sport that you are doing, studies that you're doing. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in life? So a new vocabulary word that she also used, we don't use it that often, although you hear it, is resilient, being resilient. Or the noun, the resilience is the adjective. It's to withstand. It's the capacity to withstand, let's say, whatever happens in your life. It's to recover, to bounce back. This is being resilient. I would love myself to call myself resilient because I'm going to jump back if I'm putting under a lot of pressure. And these days we are with whatever is happening around us. And so also our children. How do we help them to be resilient? So first of all, you have to look at other people and see, how do you see other people? See other people look at their attitude. Is it a positive? Do they have a positive attitude? What difference can I make as a person? Then how they treat other people. Are they kind to other people? That show me a lot of a person's character. Do they show godly character? Everybody is uniquely beautiful, created uniquely. And being unique is very special without being equal, being remarkable. That is uniquely beautiful. This is how we were created. Then resilient, to withstand or recover quickly from a difficult condition, or to spring back into a shape after bending, stretching, or compressed. Now, I can explain it like a balloon. When you press a balloon which is blown up, when you press the balloon and you leave it, it will go back into its first position. So this is how we want to be. Something happens in our life, we're squashed at that point in time, but we want to jump back to where we've been. Nothing is going to throw us off our tracks as long as that balloon is not punctured. Then you've got a problem, because then you have to pick up all the pieces from the ground, which is possible, but rather being resilient without being, let's call it, broken. Then a spring, like if you press a spring, you compress it, it will go back into its resting position. If you pull it out, it will go back into its resting position when you leave it. So it will spring back into its original shape. How do we react to certain things? The question is, what are you going to do when you finish school usually? This is the question that we ask the students. What do you think? Yes, obviously, we need to help them to think further, to set goals, to think bigger. But first, recognize these things in other people, specifically character. The importance of character. And that is what we as parents need to build into our students. Appreciate the things around you and be grateful. Make them grateful. Show them to appreciate the things around them. Rather ask, who are you going to be? Than, what are you going to do? Guide them, because they are only in your house. They will be basically for their 18 years, perhaps a little bit more. But that is the time that you can build into their lives. Now, the challenges that we have as staff, as school, is parents need to follow up on a daily basis. In the morning, in the afternoon, doesn't matter the age. Yes, it takes effort. We have to put in a lot of effort to build our kids up, to make sure that they've done what they've done, what they're supposed to do. I'm going to explain to you a little personal testimony. I've looked after, or we have looked after our grandchildren for 3 weeks when parents was away on holiday. And I know that the kids very well, and I love them to bits, and we get along really very well. But I'm not the granny who will just spoil from day one. But I teach them character. I train them up with character. So what I did was, in the afternoon, I had structure, which is number one. Parents, you have to have structure in your house. Don't expect and these children are 12 and 13. Don't expect them only to know, and because they are so responsible. No, they can't take up the responsibility and the consequences before the age. I usually said 18. The psychologist says 25, because that part in the brain only develops fully developed at that age, 25. So how can we expect for a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old child to take responsibility by themselves? We as adults need to guide them on a daily basis, because they can't do it yet. It's not developed yet. So my story, I taught them in the afternoon, quickly get out of your school clothes, hang it up, and then finish your homework, and then we practice music, because both has to do music. So every day we had a routine of finish your homework, first hang up your clothes. That's part of building character. Get order, get discipline in their lives. Then, not that they didn't have it, but I just thought it's going to make my life easier. Then I went to the music room and we practiced. Okay, I'm a music teacher, so I could help. And I taught her how to practice the piano. And every day I said, no, repeat, 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 because she said by herself she wanted to be good. So I said, good, you have to practice. And after the 2 weeks, the teacher said, wow, I could see that you have practiced. So she told me, you taught me how to practice. I didn't know how to practice. So everything went well for the 3 weeks. So 2 weeks after we left, I said, so tell me, how's the music going? Are you practicing? So she says, okay, not sort of. And I realized, you know what? It's the effort of me as a parent, or if you want to say the grandparent, it's my effort that will guide this child to practice and then reap the benefit of it. Reap the fruit of what you put in. So parents, I urge you, please don't leave your 12, 13, 14, 16, 18 years old child by themselves. You make sure, put things in place so that they finish their work. If they don't understand it, you ask the teacher. It's very easy to throw stones after it was done. But you know what? Let's take hands and help them right through it and stay on track. Then to follow instructions. Give your child instructions. Please do this first and then do that. You will help them by doing that. So give them instructions to follow. And check up. Don't only leave it. And then motivation. We can motivate as much as we like. But you as parent need to do the motivation from the home side, because we don't sit next to the child every day. You can see what's going on at home. Then last but not least, there is a school holiday coming up. The school closes between the 29th or from the 29th, only 1 week. But you know what? Your child needs a break. Please give your child a break. Everybody needs a break, you as parent, most of all, because you set the tone in the house, and therefore you need a break from everything, specifically schoolwork and the daily routine. Do things and enjoy things with your children. Thank you for listening, and share it with somebody you think who will need this.